What's up, everyone? Welcome back to Car Hub. Toyota just made one of its most exciting sports cars even better. And the changes might look small at first, but they could make a big difference behind the wheel. This is the 2027 Toyota GR86. It's still lightweight. It's still rear-wheel drive. It's still powered by a naturally aspirated boxer engine. And yes, you can still get it with a 6-speed manual transmission. But for 2027, Toyota has focused on something that matters more than simply adding horsepower. They're making the GR86 feel better to drive. The throttle response has been refined, the manual downshift experience has been improved, the interior gets updates, safety and convenience technology have been expanded, and there's even a brand new exterior color. So is this just another small model year update? Or did Toyota actually make the GR86 more exciting? Let's find out. Let's start with the biggest reason people buy a GR86 in the first place: the driving experience. The GR86 has never been about being the most powerful sports car on the road. Instead, Toyota built it around a much simpler idea. Keep it lightweight, keep it rear-wheel drive, keep the driver involved, and make the car fun without requiring supercar money. That's a philosophy that has become surprisingly rare. A lot of modern performance cars are getting heavier, more powerful, and more complicated. The GR86 continues to go in the opposite direction. And for 2027, Toyota hasn't abandoned that formula. Instead, engineers have focused on making the connection between the driver and the car feel more natural. That might not sound dramatic on paper, but when you're driving a lightweight sports car, small changes in throttle and transmission behavior can completely change the experience. From the outside, the 2027 GR86 keeps the familiar low-slung sports car shape that made the current generation so popular. The long hood, low roofline, short rear deck, wide stance, and rear-wheel drive proportions still give the car an unmistakable sports car identity. But Toyota is also introducing a new exterior color for 2027. It's called Thunder, a solid gray finish designed to emphasize the sculpted bodywork of the GR86. And honestly, it fits the car extremely well. The gray finish highlights the sharp lines without making the car look overly flashy. That's important because the GR86 doesn't need massive styling tricks to get attention. Its proportions do most of the work. You see the car from the side and immediately understand what it is. Low, light, compact, and built around the idea of driving. Now let's get into the changes that actually matter. Toyota says the 2027 GR86 receives a refined throttle calibration designed to deliver a smoother and more linear response. That might sound like a technical detail, but think about what happens when you're driving a rear-wheel drive sports car through corners. Your right foot is constantly making small adjustments. A smoother throttle response means those adjustments can feel more predictable. Instead of the car reacting too sharply, the engine response should feel more progressive and easier to control. And that is exactly the kind of change that can make a sports car more enjoyable. You don't necessarily notice it when you're looking at the car in a parking lot. You notice it when you're actually driving. And then we get to one of the biggest reasons enthusiasts still love the GR86: the 6-speed manual transmission. Toyota continues to offer a 6-speed manual alongside an automatic transmission. For a lot of buyers, that's a major reason to choose the GR86 in the first place. And for 2027, Toyota has also focused on improving the feel of 5th to 4th gear downshifts. Again, this isn't a giant horsepower upgrade, but it's the kind of change that matters when you're driving enthusiastically. A good downshift should feel natural. The engine should respond smoothly. The car should feel predictable, and the driver should feel like they're controlling the entire process. That's what makes a manual sports car different from simply driving a fast car. You're more involved, and the GR86 is clearly trying to preserve that experience. Under the hood, the formula remains familiar. The 2027 GR86 uses a 2.4-liter 4-cylinder boxer engine producing 228 horsepower and 184 pound-feet of torque. Those numbers aren't designed to win a horsepower competition, and that's okay, because the GR86 isn't trying to be a straight-line monster. Its strength comes from the combination of engine, lightweight construction, rear-wheel drive, and driver-focused tuning. You don't need enormous power to have fun in a car like this. In fact, having a manageable amount of power can actually make the car more enjoyable on real roads. You can use more of the engine. You can work through the gears. You can focus on cornering instead of constantly worrying about overwhelming the tires. And that's exactly where the GR86 makes sense. It's a sports car built around the experience, not just the numbers. Inside, Toyota is giving the 2027 GR86 some updated interior treatments while keeping the driver-focused layout that defines the car. The cabin isn't trying to be a luxury lounge, and that's actually part of the appeal. You sit low. The controls are positioned around the driver, and the overall environment feels focused on driving rather than distracting you with unnecessary complexity. For 2027, Toyota is also expanding active safety and convenience technologies. That matters because a sports car still needs to work as an everyday vehicle. You might take the GR86 on a weekend drive, but you also need to live with it during normal commuting. So adding more confidence-focused technology makes the car easier to use without changing its basic character. Now here's the interesting question. Why does a car like the GR86 still matter in 2027? Because the sports car market is changing. Cars are becoming more powerful. More cars are getting electrified. Technology is becoming a bigger part of the driving experience. And many performance cars are getting heavier. The GR86 represents a different approach. It says you don't necessarily need 500 horsepower to have fun. You don't need a huge SUV-sized sports car. And you don't need every possible electronic system to enjoy driving. Sometimes, a lightweight chassis, rear-wheel drive, a responsive engine, and a manual gearbox are enough. That's the GR86.